Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Say it together if you like. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva, together, Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devam Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Dirayat Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nitryam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavata Yuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Before reciting this as Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, we should offer respectful obeisances unto the Personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supremest human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the Personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. So we are reading today from Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, 9th chapter, verse 34, and it was very, very long purport. And yesterday, Premananda Prabhu told us how this is one of the 4 verses of the Chatur Shloka, which is a concise understanding of the entire instructions of the Vedas, which is that everything is Krishna, and devotional service to the Lord is the topmost activity for every jiva. Okay, so shall we do the word for word? Like
at least the verse.
Just read the verse. Okay, so here's the verse in Sanskrit. Rthaṁ yat pratīyeta na pratīyeta cātmani tad vidyād ātmano māyām yathābhāso tamaḥ. Okay, translation. O Brahmā, whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without relation to me, has no reality. Know it as my illusory energy, that reflection which appears to be in darkness. Purport by His Divine Grace. Okay, this is the 3rd part, right? We're doing this for the 3rd time. Nicho did it the first.
You have a part, correct?
Correct, yeah. I'm going to continue on with the purport. Okay. Although the reflectory energy of the Lord displays various illusions to the eyes of persons with a poor fund of knowledge, the sane person knows clearly that the Lord can act even from far, far beyond our vision by His different energies, just as fire can diffuse heat and light from a distant place. In the medical science of the ancient sages, known as the Ayurveda, there is a definite acceptance of the Lord's supremacy in the following words. Jayagnyanir anichasya chid anandaikarupina pumsosti prakritir nitya Pratīyeta bhasvataha acetanapi caitanya yogena paramatmana akarod vishvam akilam anityam natakakritam. There is one supreme person who is the progenitor of this cosmic manifestation and whose energy acts as prakriti, or the material nature, dazzling like a reflection. By such illusory action of prakriti, even dead matter is caused to move by the cooperation of living energy of the Lord, and the material world appears like a dramatic performance to the ignorant eyes. The ignorant person, therefore, may even be a scientist or a physiologist in the drama of prakriti, while the sane person knows prakriti as the illusory energy of the Lord. By such a conclusion, as confirmed by the Bhagavad Gita, it is clear that the living entities are also a display of the Lord's superior energy, para-prakriti, just as the material world is a display of the Lord's inferior energy, apara-prakriti. The superior energy of the Lord cannot be as good as the Lord, although there is very little difference between the energy and the possessor of the energy, or the fire and the heat. Fire is possessed of heat, but heat is not fire. This simple thing is not understood by the man with a poor fund of knowledge, who falsely claims that the fire and the heat are the same. This energy of the fire, namely heat, is explained here as a reflection, not directly fire. Therefore, the living energy represented by the living entities is the reflection of the Lord, and never the Lord himself. Being the reflection of the Lord, the existence of the living entity is dependent on the Supreme Lord, who is the original light. This material energy may be compared to darkness, as actually it is darkness, and the activities of the living entities in the darkness are reflections of the original light. The Lord should be understood by the context of this verse. Non-dependence of both the energies of the Lord is explained as māyā, or illusion. No one can make a solution of the darkness of ignorance simply by the reflection of light. Similarly, no one can come out of material existence simply by the reflected light of the common man. One has to receive the light from the original light itself. The reflection of sunlight in the darkness is unable to drive out the darkness, but the sunlight outside the reflection can drive out the darkness completely. In darkness, no one can see the things in a room. Therefore, a person in the dark is afraid of snakes and scorpions, although there may not be such things. But in the light, the things in the room can be clearly seen, and the fear of snakes and scorpions is at once removed. Therefore, one has to take shelter of the light of the Lord, as in the Bhagavad Gita or the Srimad Bhagavatam, and not the reflective personalities who have no touch with the Lord. No one should hear Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam from a person who does not believe in the existence of the Lord. Such a person is already doomed, and any association with such a doomed person makes the associator also doomed. According to the Padma Purana, within the material compass there are innumerable material universes, and all of them are full of darkness. Any living being, beginning from the Brahmas,
There are innumerable Brahmas in innumerable universes. 2, the insignificant ant, are all born in darkness, and they require factual light from the Lord to see him directly. Just as the sun can be seen only by the direct light of the sun, no lamp or man-made torchlight, however powerful it may be, can help one see the sun. The sun reveals itself. Therefore, the action of different energies of the Lord, or the personality of Godhead himself, can be realized by the light manifested by the causeless mercy of the Lord. The impersonalists say that God cannot be seen. God can be seen by the light of God, and not by man-made speculations. Here, this light is specifically mentioned as vidyāt, which is an order by the Lord to Brahmā. This direct order of the Lord is a manifestation of his internal energy, and this particular energy is the means of seeing the Lord face to face. Not only Brahmā, but anyone who may be graced by the Lord to see such merciful, direct, internal energy can also realize the personality of Godhead without any mental speculation. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuru Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kada Māyāṁ Dadati Svapadante Kam. Vande Hom Shri Guru Shri Yuthapādakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha. Hey Krishna, Karuna Sindhu, Dina Bando Jagapate, Gopesha Gopika Kanta, Radha Kanta Namostute, Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi, Radhe Vrindavanishwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi, Pranamami Hari Priyai. Vanchakapachuvascha, Kripa Sindhibevacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namaham Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Bacharine Nirvishesha Shinvari Pashtadi Dishtarine. So I will ask for the blessings of the assembled Vaishnavas that I can speak something so that we all may learn. And so I brought notes. Premananda's class yesterday was very nice. I took lots of notes, and he didn't need to use them, but I do. I forget things. So, the verse, O Brahmā, whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without relation to me, has no reality. Know it as my illusory energy, that reflection which appears to be in darkness. So Prabhupada specifically mentions in the Purport that here is light specifically mentioned as vidyād. And we want to say that vidyād is an order by the Lord to Brahmā. The line is, I thought I wrote it down. Tad vidya ātmano māyāṁ So vidyād is translated, you must know. Ātmanaḥ is my, māyāṁ, illusory energy. So the translation, know it as my illusory energy. And this is the instruction given to Brahmā. And Krishna is so unlimited. I went through the whole purport to pull out some things that, first of all, there is a secret to understanding the intricacies of knowledge of the absolute truth. And the secret is not that you get to go to the college and have a good professor and spend 12 years learning Sanskrit grammar, but the secret is that you have to get the causeless mercy of the Lord. Only Krishna can reveal himself, and that's what we're learning in the purport. Prabhupada was saying that you can't get the sun revealed simply by using a flashlight or a lamp. The sun can only be revealed when the sun reveals itself, because the amount of light is so overwhelming. So it's foolish to think that you can go find the sun with a flashlight. And similarly, to think that you can use your material intelligence to understand the inconceivable absolute truth is foolishness. Prabhupada uses the word dovetailing. The right conclusion of dovetailing is that everything is in relationship with the Lord, and that is called yoga-māyā. So throughout my devotional sojourn, I have heard this word dovetailing, and I always understood it that no matter what you have, you can use it in Krishna's service. So you don't use anything for yourself, although unfortunately I'm a bit covered over, and I realize that most of the time I'm simply just serving the senses of this human form that I'm in. But at least due to the information revealed by the pure devotee of the Lord, Srila Prabhupada, we can understand that we want to use everything in Krishna's service. So each of us has different resources, different propensities, different levels of intelligence, and if we use them in Krishna's service, then we are in yoga-māyā, or the energy of union. And it is a wrong conception to detach something from relationship with the Lord. And when I think of that, there are lots of people, they like to go to the park, they like to go to the ocean, they like to see the beauty, and they enjoy it. But they enjoy it without giving due consideration who created that beautiful sky, that beautiful flower, that beautiful peacock. And so then that is a form of the Lord's energy, Māyā, or mahā-māyā. So it's a wrong conception. It's not false, but it's a wrong conception. And Prabhupada gives the understanding of what is false versus what is illusory. And so if you take a rope in a dark room to be a snake, that is illusory. But it's not that the rope is false, and it's not that the snake is false. They do exist. It's just that you might be an illusion what is there. And so in the same way, we have to realize that if we don't connect everything to Krishna, we're in illusion. Because Krishna is everywhere, and Krishna is everything. Krishna is every atom. Krishna actually is inside each atom. And the individual living entities, this is from the Purport, are born from the energy of the supreme living being. And so none of us has any existence without being dovetailed with the Supreme Lord. And it's a false claim of supreme independence by the conditioned souls. The false claim of supreme independence is illusion. And this conclusion is admitted in this verse. Now, I remember learning that not only is Krishna inside every atom, Krishna is in your heart. Krishna tells us specifically in Bhagavad Gita, he's situated in everyone's heart, and from him come knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. And Krishna is also inside every atom. So I found a nice morning walk where they were discussing about atoms, and specifically Prabhupada answered a question a devotee asked, is Kashira Dakshayi Vishnu present in non-living entities like rocks? And Prabhupada answered, yes, he is even in the atom. And then the devotee said, in his four-armed form? Prabhupada said, yes. Wherever he lives in his own paraphernalia. He is greater than the greatest and smaller than the smallest. Prabhupada uses the word paramanu. Paramanu means atom. You cannot see even the atom, how small, and yet Krishna is within that atom. And then Prabhupada, in a different, that was a Bhagavad Gita lecture given in Los Angeles, February 1969. And then later, this is the morning walk conversation, Prabhupada talks about the fact that there are actually two kinds of atoms. There are material ones and spiritual ones. And so Prabhupada saying, the paramanu, the atoms, they are incessantly coming out, but where from it is coming? And Guru Kripa was asking, does that mean that the atom is a living entity? Prabhupada, no. The living entity is also atom. One class of atom is matter, and one class of atom is the living entity, and that's explained in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse 4. Bhumir aponalo vayam kamano budir evacha. That the material matter, everything is a combination of atoms. And these atoms are coming out as the energy of Krishna. So the spiritual atoms, there are many, many times greater than the material atoms. And some of the spiritual atoms, when they want to enjoy independently, they are given the chance of enjoying this material atom. So, speaking about the fact, Prabhupada says, spiritual atoms, there are many, many times greater than the material atoms. And Prabhupada says that, specifically in Christianity, God is great. And Prabhupada says, they don't know how great he is. Now, one thing I learned is that, and you probably learned too in the Shastra, that the spiritual world is constantly expanding. And it's been expanding since eternity, although in the spiritual world time really doesn't exist. But it's constantly expanding, and that's like, we can't wrap our head around it, you know? So Prabhupada's saying that The spiritual atoms are many times greater than the material atoms. And we can't even count how many atoms are in this one, well, we can't even count how many atoms are on this one planet. What to speak of the 7 different planetary systems within this one universe. What to speak of the fact that Mahavishnu is simply laying down on the causal ocean. He's having yoga nidra, a nice slumber. His feet are being massaged. And while he's breathing out and breathing in, innumerable universes are being created. And we know that the universe that we're in is one of the smallest, because our Brahmā only has 4 heads. So the complicated architecture of our universe is nothing compared to some of the other universes. We can't even comprehend. It's just, we simply cannot comprehend. So here is really neat. So Guru Kripa says, if we say that Krishna enters within the atom, what is his business there? Prabhupada, business is to guide the rascals like you. Do you follow or not? Guru Kripa, well, the material atoms, Prabhupada, because Krishna loves you so much that even you accept this material atom, he goes to help you. Therefore, he is within, because sarvasya chaham ridiv sanivishto. Bhagavad Gita 15:15. The living entity, he's enjoying this material world. He has got everything. He's a person. He has got his heart. So in the heart there is Krishna. Sarvasya chaham hridhi sanivishto. You read Bhagavad Gita? Why? Why he has sarvasya chaham hridhi sanivishto? Who will say why he has? Your question is why? Hridayananda, Mata Smriti, Prabhupada. Mata Smriti Jnanam. He's always trying. Quote, you rascal, why are you suffering in this way? Come back to me. This is the answer. He's so kind. That is his kindness. So, like that. The consciousness is perfect when it comes to Krishna consciousness. And that again is bringing up the idea of dovetailing, that we need to constantly remember that everything comes from Krishna, although Krishna is at the same time separate. So in Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy, we know there is a chintya beta beta tattva, which is really good. Because anybody who wants to try and understand something and you're giving them shastric evidence and they're like trying to use their logic and intelligence, then you could just say, sorry, achintya beta beta tattva. It is simultaneously one and different. You cannot understand. Simultaneously one and different. How's that possible? Simultaneously one and different. Because one means one. But it's simultaneously, yes, for sure. Another thing I was thinking about as far as, because Prabhupada likes to talk about the material scientists, how they're so proud of their knowledge. And then I was thinking of the mathematical equation of the conch shell. And I was trying to find the name, but I can't find the name. Does anybody know it? The something equation? Yeah. And, or like a fractal. Anybody know like a fractal? It's like a complicated design. And the further in you get, the design keeps repeating itself and repeating itself and repeating itself. You never get to the end. So like that. And Krishna, he's inside each atom. And he's not just standing there, bored to death. His entire entourage is there. He's not by himself, inside each atom. It's inconceivable. They don't know how great God is. That's for sure. So in this verse also, we're hearing the word reflection. So Krishna is the original light and fire and heat. are used as examples that Prabhupada says that the heat is in fire, but fire is not in heat. So we have to understand that. Also, another point Prabhupada brings up, he likes to talk about this intellectual gymnastics of these so-called scientists and philosophers. And there are scientific studies of the cosmic manifestation or the bodily construction independent of the Supreme Lord. And they are different reflective intellectual gymnastics only. And at the end, they are all an illusion, nothing more. Prabhupada says in the purport part we read that a sane person knows prakriti as the illusory energy of the Lord, a sane person. And the reflectory energy of the Lord displays illusions to the eyes of persons with a poor fund of knowledge. So we can remember that man proposes, God disposes. If you want to be an atheist, Krishna will allow you to see evidence that he doesn't exist. That's your call. But you're in illusion. And so Prabhupada's saying that in order to really see the sunlight, you have to take shelter of the light of the Lord revealed in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, not reflective personalities who have no touch of the Lord. So, while reading this purport, which was so extensive, I mean, my head was spinning. It took me a long time. I had to read like sentences over and over again to really grasp the concept. And we have to understand that ultimately, it's only by the mercy of the Lord if you're going to be able to understand him and know him. Man proposes, God disposes. And we do know that Krishna reveals through his pure devotee that it's only devotional service that is going to touch Krishna, to reveal himself, because he doesn't need anything from you. And not only that, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that what is the use of all this detailed knowledge? Simply by a fragment of my energy, I pervade this entire universe. I'm trying to find it because, I try and pop out my notes, but it's in the Bhagavad Gita. What is the use of all this detailed knowledge? And that's a fact. We know that because we have the story of the Brahmin who Lord Chaitanya, when he was doing his tour of South India, and he came across a Brahmin, was reading the Bhagavad Gita outside the temple, and he was crying. And Lord Chaitanya, in all sincerity, not trying to mock him like the other residents of that area were doing, because they knew that he wasn't really able to read so well the Sanskrit, and and actually I was told in a class that in that specific town that everybody was very, very proud of their scholarly achievements, and that's how come they made fun of that Brahmin, because he actually couldn't recite Sanskrit very well, and they were very, very proud of their scholarship. So Lord Chaitanya, after inquiring, understood that this Brahmin, he said, even just by looking at the picture, there is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he agreed to become a chariot driver of his friend. I mean, that's pretty wild. That's like, it reminds me of when the man went to go visit the Prime Minister, and he had to wait, and he's waiting hours and hours, and finally he's like, what's going on? He peeked in, and there was the Prime Minister being a horsey for his grandchild. Because that was his enjoyment, you know, being the prime minister, making all these rules and all that. You know, that's his job, you know, that's no fun. So in the same way, Krishna, we can't even understand how wonderful his qualities are, that he feels obligated to his friend who shows love and devotion. He feels obligated, just like the gopis, you know. It's not that like Krishna, okay, let's have the Rasa Leela because I'm going to go, you know, have fun with the girls dancing. No. Krishna, he saw how the gopis had such a love for him. He was touched. He was touched. He was like, oh, wow. Oh, you have affection for me. I have to reciprocate. I'm so grateful. I'm so, what's he say? I'm obligated. I'm obligated because you have this love for me. This is how wonderful Krishna is. And so this material world, it's created by a plenary portion of a plenary portion. So what is the need for all this detailed knowledge? It's simply a tiny spark of my splendor. Krishna, in the meanwhile, we are so fortunate to have been told by the pure devotee all these very inside esoteric pieces of information that Krishna, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, he likes to run around with his friends. He likes to take the cows out to the forest, and then he likes to swap things in his lunch bag with his other friends. And he likes it when they grab something out of his hand, you know, because they want what he's got, you know. This is Krishna, and we are so fortunate that we have met the pure devotee of the Lord. And Prabhupada said, I have created your fortune, because it is stated in the scriptures that you have to have so much pious activity, you have to have so much qualification. And knowing for myself, being born in a Western body in America, I have no qualification, so I'm just so happy. So to end my class, I want to read something from this wonderful book put together by my god sister Mula Prakriti. She did leave us, and then her husband continued and got this book published. And this book is about, Mula went around Vrindaban, she went around all over the place, and interviewed so many different devotees, so many different Vaishnavas that knew Prabhupada back in the day, before he was famous for traveling all over the world. Can you imagine? At such an old age, he had his birthday on that ship, he had a couple of heart attacks and all. So this particular friend, his name was Gopesh. And he's a disciple of Srila Prabhupada's godbrother, Srila Bhakti Hridoyvan Maharaj. And I've heard that name, and it is a fact that he was supportive of Srila Prabhupada. So I want to say here, I remember that when he stayed with us, Prabhupada, he was not a talkative person. He was very serious. But whenever there was kirtan here, he would always sing bhajans. Especially, he would sing the songs of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He seemed to prefer the songs of Nam Tattva, the glories of the holy name, like Narada Muni Bajai Vina Radhikara Manarnamre Nama Amani Uditahaya. And I recall he sang it so beautifully. Swami Maharaj one time told my Guru Dev, Van Maharaj, that he had these plans for going to America. He said, one day I will do like this, go to the West to preach. Before he left for America, Swami Maharaj and my Guru Maharaj met together many times and would speak together, like in Ishtagosti. When my Guru Maharaj spoke to Sumati Muraji, a devotee in Bombay, he told her, Swami Maharaj has plans to do this, so you can make some arrangements for him. Also, after this, my Guru Maharaj would write telling her that Swami Maharaj is there in America, so you please continue to facilitate him. Upon learning that Srila Van Maharaj was trying to help him like this, Swami Maharaj wrote in reply, all your help is appreciated by me. Even though you are trying to assist me so much, still the preaching is not yet progressing very well. So after a little time, I will return there to Vrindaban. But my Guru Maharaj wrote to him, oh no, you should try to stay here for some more time. I will always be sitting here as your friend, continuing to assist you. Many letters were coming from America for our Guru Maharaj during these times. Some time ago, one devotee named Brigu Muni from Finland came and showed him those letters. I was a brahmachari then, and my name was Gopesh. Prabhupada was very loving and affectionate when he stayed with us. He was very soft and gentle, and all his dealings were done out of affection. He was very simple and uncomplicated in his ways. His heart was overflowing with affection. Whenever he would come here, I would always see the bhajan he was performing. I would hear katha from him, and he would speak personally to me. I felt close to him. So in this way, we developed a firm relationship. In those days, it was my service to work in the kitchen. Together, we would prepare some boga for Thakurji. Oftentimes, we would cut vegetables side by side. He liked to make so many different types of preparations, many varieties of sabji, Bengali sabjis. Over a period of 2 years, he would come to visit us here. He also stayed sometimes near where ISKCON is now, at the Philosophy Institute. Then he took sannyas and went to the Western countries for preaching. When he first returned, I tried very hard to receive his darshan, but I couldn't get in. One time I went to ISKCON because I wanted to meet with him. I went to Raman Reti, but when I went to his room, some devotee stopped me from seeing him, forbidding me to enter. I was very sad in my mind because this friend with whom I had lived, whom I had thought of as my own, and with whom I had spent such nice time in the past, now I wasn't able to meet with him. Finally, after traveling extensively and doing his preaching for many more years, he came to visit this mat again. He spoke for 1 hour with my Guru Dev alone. I was feeling sad that perhaps he had forgotten or ignored me. After 1 hour, he returned to his car, which was parked at the gate. He was just sitting down with 1 foot in the car and 1 on the ground. I was standing by the side of the gate watching. Then, at the last minute, just as he was ready to close the car door, he saw me. Immediately he called out, "Hey, come, come." He started to laugh. Gopesh, come here. So I came to him. Then I said, for so much time you have been traveling around the world, doing such great work. How many thousands of people you are meeting with. I was only with you for some short time, 12 years ago. But still you have remembered my name? How is this possible? Very friendly, in a parental manner, he patted me on the chest and said, oh, Gopesh, how are you? Can anyone ever forget their own person? I can never forget those persons who are mine. However much work I have been doing, I can never forget you. From that day on, I felt sure he never would forget me. And we know Prabhupada's never going to forget any of us. He's so wonderful. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Okay. The verse again. O Brahmā, whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without relation to me, has no reality. No, it is my illusory energy, that reflection which appears to be in the darkness. So I'll open it up for any comments, corrections, questions. Okay, thank you. No hard ones. I always need notes, you know. It's terrible to have gotten older and you have to remember things. In fact, I want to ask, okay, we're in a good assembly of Vaishnavas. I can only remember 3/4, or actually 2/3. There are 6 things, there are 3 things you should always remember, and 3 things you should always forget. You should always remember the good that others did to you, and always forget the good that you did to others. Always remember the charity that has been given to you, and always forget the charity that you have given to others. And I can't remember the other one. Anybody know that? 3 things to always remember and 3 things to always forget. So you've heard this?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Always remember the good that others have done to you, and forget the good that you have done to others. Always remember the charity that others have given you, and forget the charity that you have given to others. And I'll try and find always something else. Even you don't know.
I don't know.
I was hoping. Okay.
No, he's looking.
He's also learned?
No, really. Really.
Oh, Braylon, he's Googling?
I'm trying to Google it, yeah.
I have Google. I have this one. I don't have the Veda base because it's too expensive. And I used to have a bootleg copy. I'm the queen of bootlegs. But each time you get a new laptop, it doesn't transfer over. So online, there's the prabhupadbooks.com. And they have a little bit of a Veda-based type situation. But it is a little limited. It is limited. Even what you give, you type in the search field, but you don't always get what is in Prabhupada's books. You have to fish around a little bit. So, okay, then we all come to the conclusion that devotional service to Lord Krishna is the best thing that you can do with your human form. And the only way you can know about Lord Krishna is by his mercy. And what is his mercy? He sends the pure devotee. He sends the pure devotee. That's so wonderful. Since we don't have a question, I want to tell you something. When I was a new devotee, actually I wasn't a new devotee, I was a guest visiting at the temple. And I went to Rath Yatra, and I bought a Bhagavad Gita, and I was bringing it to where I work at night, because I worked at a bar, making unmentionables and serving liquor. And so I was intimidated by, my friends, why are you reading this, thing from, some guru swami in India, you're being cheated and all. So one night I didn't go with my Bhagavad Gita. And Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the bar is slow. Nobody's going in the back for French fries and pizza and other things. So I got to the bar, and there was a Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto part 2, with the Radha Krishna deities. And nobody knew where it came from, who it belonged to. And so that was Krishna. No, you're not gonna forget me. I'm gonna bring you to me. Krishna's mercy. He's the master of all mystics. And there's other ones too. We've all had mystical encounters dealing with Krishna and his pure devotees. We all have. So that's evidence. All right, thank you so much. So that's it, no questions? Good. I recommend you have to get the Srimad Bhagavatam and you have to read it, because you'll learn history, you'll learn geography, you'll learn logic, and you'll learn your supreme dharma. And if you get a book translated by the pure devotee, it's the first time you won't be cheated, because everything else is cheating you, promising you happiness, but it's not. And don't forget, just like I was talking to my mom, and I was saying how Krishna says that there are 4 principles of freedom. So we have our 4 regulative principles: no meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, no gambling. And so I was, talking with her how, in America, you're a teenager and you think it's so much fun to run off in the back alley and smoke a cigarette and have a beer, But then there you are, 30, 35 years old, and you've got such an addiction to this cigarette, it's ruling you. And you're waking up 2 o'clock in the morning because your body has to have that nicotine. Or you become addicted to that alcohol so much that your intelligence is so fuzzy. You end up spending your paycheck. You end up losing your wife, losing your family, losing your job, losing your home. And the gambling, what about the gambling? It's stirring up this desire in your heart. Oh, I can get something for nothing. I can get something for nothing. Let me play this lottery ticket. And unfortunately, in the internet now, they have online gambling, and their advertisements are always coming at you in your face. And this is such a shame for some people who have a weakness, for this idea that, oh, if I just spend this $10, if I just spend this $20, I have a chance. I'll get 100 or 200 back. So let's just follow the 4 regulative principles. And even the illicit sex life, we know there's so many problems with that. Even Prabhupada says, if there wasn't a problem, then how come you devised this birth control? Because you know there's a problem. What to speak of the sexually transmitted diseases going on. So these 4 regulative principles, they're the 4 pillars of freedom, Krishna tells us in the Bhagavad Gita. So practice them, and then you have real freedom. You're not controlled by anything, any temptation in this material world. Okay, thank you. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai. Grace Malika Prabhu ki jai.
Thank you.